Last year, June 2011, I made this video. Watch it. I'm like a prophet. And I call it the psychopathy nobody sees because all the stupid GOP nuts. And then before the election, November 1st of this year, 2012, I made this video, which is preceding neurological this one that I'm making right now. Sees, which is belief in gods and faith, created by malfunctioning or very, very ignorant or very young children brain. I'm going to explain to you after this, the mentally healthy, in other words, atheist, or POTUS, Obama, highly intellectual. He's not going to tell you he's an atheist, though, because otherwise he'll never get anywhere. In an insane asylum of America, which is a Christianity-infected country, about 80% believe, because of the GOP. People that believe in resurrecting zombies are said with blood, golden plates, and the rest of the schizophrenic things that nobody connects as schizophrenia. Because religious beliefs, they are all metamagical, deluded concepts that are producing all religions. In the moment a person is religious, he has a problem with the brain. Because he reasons not unlike people suffer from schizophrenia, cognitive dissonance. And especially in this 21st century, where we know that we are product of fuck, the zygote form our bodies, we navigate the planet with the five senses. And when the brain is infected, then we have a problem of reasoning, and it's defective. So, in other words, facts talk, bullshit walks. And neurology proves that if you believe in God, you're a filter. You have a problem with your brain. No different schizophrenic. So let's tell it like it is. We're in the 21st century, not the 12th. So I'll begin why Obama was victorious and crush the ChristPsychosis infected imbeciles of the GOP, the deluded nuts. They don't belong in government, belong in asylums. Here I begin. The problem in the United States of America, this wonderful country. It's like the Roman Empire. You have the flags, which is vexillium. Everything in the Western world comes from the Roman Empire. Everything. Symbols, the stars, symbol of the sun, of Arizona, United States of America, all from the Roman Empire. Everything. And I begin with the facts that has the evidence to back them up. I'll make this as quick as possible, all with facts. The brain creates the mind, and it creates also all the beliefs in God to cope with death and the reality of it all, because we're nothing but evolved mutated primates. Create God and spirits and afterlife, death, ideas and concepts, just to cope with death, cope with our finality, and the fact that we are nothing more than apes, crazy apes that are going to die. We're going to get old, die, decompose, and then bacteria is going to eat our brains, and we're on the earth. Going back to nature, go back to the atoms and all that, because we're related by DNA to any living form on the planet. That is a scientific fact. But 40,000 years ago, these concepts of religion and ideas of gods were created by the ingestion of psychotropic substances, entheogens, plants, and all that drugs that actually affected the brain and make people see different things and different concepts, making the brain even get the evolution of the brain. The reason the brain evolved was due to coronavirus about 47 million years ago, affecting a series of primate, a perfect storm of different factors. 47 million years ago, that initiated the evolution of certain primates, perhaps lemurs, that affected the evolution, and that's what here we are. Crazy, mutated apes that believe in God and think the shit doesn't stink. We're nothing but animals. The shit stinks. And when we cannot tell between fact and fantasy creating that we're superior than anybody else, then we create the gods. And then we create that we're superior than everybody else, and we kill animals, kill each other, reproduce, and don't give a shit about the planet. That is religious for you, a religious psychosis that nobody sees. No different than schizophrenia. So they start with the entheogens 40,000 years ago. Then it begins the organized religion, it's organized schizophrenia, about 12,000 years ago. Then we have the Egyptian religion. They start organizing everything with many gods. The moment that you believe in many gods, it creates tolerance because you believe in many gods. And you don't fight about gods. The more the merrier. And you remember Akhenaten. They started believing in one God, the sun. 1400 years ago, BCE. 14 BCE, I'm sorry. Like 3,400 years ago. And then he shared the believing in one God. You know what happened to him? He was crushed, turned as a heretic, and then the gods, he continued the gods by Ramses and the other pharaohs. And thanks to technology, and the problem is that when you start believing in science, you start not believing in science, but you start learning science and dismissing the gods, and you start learning like the Greek science and scientists and all that thing, then you are in the minority. Because the psychosis of religious of the kings and prophets and morons like that took all the entheogens are the ones in control of countries and empires over 3,000 years ago. And the science, they have to shut their mouth because, they're experimenting. That's what Greek geometry came from. A Greek scientist, learn history and you'll see. And that is the reason we have iPads today. But if it was for Christianity, a disgusting disease that creates mental stagnation and all that and burning books, we would have been in the moon over 1,000 years ago. We would have iPads over 1,000 years ago, the internet and everything. We wouldn't have disease. We're all over the planet, but no. Now you still have the moronic piece of shit imbeciles like in the United States, the anti-science, garbage, idiotic, moronic, GOP, and people in churches corrupting the mind of children. But see that, it comes from here. The soul is nothing but air, spirits. This little circle that you hear, the shin, that symbolizes immortality, infinity. And this is the soul living the body. There were 3 souls in the Egyptian religion. That's where the concept of soul comes from, assholes. The heart is a pump. We create thinking with the brain. The brain is the container of thoughts. And you see all that. And it's all in hieroglyphs. The facts are here. Facts talk, bullshit walks. All here. Here's the proof. You can see that in tombs. So, believing God in this 21st century is a mental disorder that we don't need. It lingers, and it lingers, and it lingers. That's just that we have the imbeciles like Romney that believe in all that crap running for president. We have congressmen. We have the Superior Court. 6 ChristPsychosis infected morons in the Supreme Court. Nice, isn't it? And the American people are blind. But what pisses me off, ignorant people, that's okay because infected with disease. But there is no excuse for scientists and the so-called atheists like Dawkins and Harris, Dennett, P.C. Myers, and the American Society of Atheists, and I think the president is Silverman. These people are blind and they're clueless because they don't smash the piece of shit, theotarded, schizophrenia-infected imbeciles that believe in resurrecting zombies that say with blood for the schizophrenic, mentally dysfunctional people they are. They belong in mental institutions. Now, people start finally realizing that all this bullshit of the religious is bullshit. And they're theotarded, they're stuck in the Middle Ages. That's the reason Obama won. And the GOP is going to be going in the way of the dinosaurs. It will happen. So, this was, I suggest, all the GOP, beginning with Romney, do. Here is a little photo that I made. Mentally healthy, also known as atheist, POTUS Obama won. Now it's time. All ChristPsychosis infected, racist imbeciles of the GOP to start with Mormon Romney to form a line at the White House, kneel in front of POTUS Obama, kiss his black penis Christ that he creates human beings like himself
and pay respect to his black ass. Let's cure ChristPsychosis that infects the brain, making the brain psychotic, deluded, schizophrenia infected, accepting resurrecting zombies as the fact. Believing God is a mental disease that we must address and extirpate in this 21st century before the human race becomes extinct. ChristPsychosis infected America does not realize where the illness came from. The virulent illness came from zombie god infected England, when the psychotic imbeciles, faint-hearted, landed in the Mayflower in 1622, bringing the plague, the cancer of Christianity into the shores, exterminating the natives, the imbeciles, psychotic faint-hearts, the pilgrims. And ChristPsychosis infected America in this 21st century. Celebrate this genocidal psychopathy and call it Thanksgiving. The imbeciles were psychotic morons. Morons believing in resurrecting some that say with blood. Christianity is psychopathy, no morality, immorality. They are deluded psychopaths that believe in resurrecting somebody that say with blood, and stagnate the intellect of mankind with this mental disease, not unlike schizophrenia and psychopathy, inducing sadomasochism that stupid, ignorant imbeciles in America don't understand. And the fault is scientists. Brilliant scientists in the United States of America don't tell it like it is, connecting religious beliefs in zombie gods as a neurological psychopathy, a cancer of the brain, not unlike HIV, AIDS, but of the brain. We are evolved mutated primates created by a fuck, not gods that create the imbecilities and delusions of gods, angels, spirits, when the brain is sick and malfunction. A fact.
And see, the problem is that Christianity has been infected and stagnated the mind for over 1750 years. And it came from the disintegration of the Roman Empire, thanks to Constantinus, that made the religion of the Christus, Julius Caesar. 400 years after he was ascended to heaven and was sacrificed, and his blood was sacred. It made the religion, the worship of the Christus of the city of Rome, the capital of the vast empire. It made the cult of the Christus, because there were many, many, many all over. You know, it declared universal, which means Catholic. So he started ranking down all the other ones and destroying the other cults of the Christus and many other religions. And then, of course, that disintegrated the Roman Empire because it caused intolerance. And they started burning books, and they teaching the kids how to be ignorant. And this happened for 1500 years in studying the intellect. They had no idea about the Egyptian civilization. It was buried, thanks to the imbecile Christians that burned all the books and destroyed everything of the priesthood of the Egyptian religion. They had no idea what hieroglyphs were. They had no idea what the pyramids were. Nothing, these piece of shit imbecile Christians. There were many of them. And that controlled everything, all Europe. Until 1492, that the imbecile Columbus, a psychopath, a sadomasochistic, the psychopath Christian imbecile, landed, unfortunately, in the Americas. They think he was landing in India. But the piece of shit, he had no idea about science or anything. Everything is zombie god belief. And they control all the Americas. And then came the Protestant piece of shit from England. And Cabot. And the other ones came around and started North America. Protestants. Another Christ-psychotic infected imbecile with many sects. And in 1622 came the morons that loved the Geneva Bible and they hated the Bible of King James I, which is a gay man. It was homosexual. And they took off in the Mayflower to the colonies and landed in America. Despicable pieces of shit. Landed infecting everybody. That was a disgusting a catastrophe for the Americas, for the natives. And that's what you're going to celebrate in Thanksgiving? Piece of shit, infected Christianity, imbeciles, Americans? This is the problem. And you know what keeps the ignorance going? Education. Churches. Universities infected with ChristPsychosis, infected imbecility and theotardism. That's the problem. Churches constantly making all the people immoral, intolerant, homophobic, pedophile. And that's what is studying. That's the reason the problems in the United States with all the process of imbecile. Racist. Check the KKK in the United States of America. Check segregation. But they don't teach education in the schools. And the GOP doesn't like it. And the church doesn't like to teach education at all and science. Because then the game is up. Piece of shit assholes. Then the game is up. People know that Christianity is a psychosis. Is inducing into intolerance and immorality. That's what God believe is. It's a psychopathy. It's a schizophrenia type disorder that makes people stupid, theotarded, stuck in the Middle Ages, intolerant. They love sadomasochism and they destroy animals and kill them. They don't give a shit about the planet because God said that it's made for humans. So there is no climate warming. See what happens? And then you have a university like Brigham Young. And that's the reason of it. That is the reason. People don't understand. Now America finally start waking up. And I hope they put all the piece of shit, all the Christianity, maybe they believe in God, put them in a mental institution. Fix their brains. Teach them science. Teach all the kids science. Every Sunday, instead of going to church, molesting their brains, teach them science. That will be a wake up. It will be, psychosis of Christianity will go downhill. Using my intellectual atheist brain connecting dots, I'm going to explain why the GOP lost.
They don't see the elephant in the room. The brain creates the mind, and ChristPsychosis infected America is beginning to wake up. Believing God is a mental illness. That's the reason this Mormon psychosis infected imbecile lost. That's what they teach in Brigham Young. Christianity infected institution that should be shut down because it's the Middle Ages. Every church, every university that is based on some big God belief, Christianity, which is stuck in the Middle Ages, should be shut down. America is slowly waking up, believing God is a mental illness, not unlike schizophrenia and other neurological disorders. Because we human beings are evolved mutated primates, product of a fuck or coitus, not any God. We are in the 21st century, not the 12th. And Americans are beginning to realize this fact.
I want to explain to you the real truth of why the GOP and the ChristPsychosis infected Romney and the rest of deluded idiots stuck in the Middle Ages lost. Simple. Because American youth are beginning to wake up thanks to the internet and the technology. You have iPhones, you have iPads, you have all this technology. Despite the psychosis of the churches, the ChristPsychosis that keep people, trying to keep people ignorant, stuck in the Middle Ages, their lives are dissipating and disintegrating. No matter if you have universities like Brigham Young, Liberty University, and the rest of stupid universities that believe in, and the parents, the older parents are still believing in resurrecting some, they say, with blood, and this kids being infected, molested by their families with the Christianity crap and all this sadomasochistic bullshit which induces racism, intolerance, and everything else, and also keep people retarded because they don't want to have advancement science. Well, only works in rural areas. That's the reason Romney got so much of the rural areas. There's people in farms that are stupid. They go to church all the time. They're so ignorant. They read only one book, the Bible, and they don't know anything else. And they're ignorant of science. They think like United States is only one planet. And there's a whole, everybody speaks English. So this is the problem. People start waking up. And they start, despite all the lies, you notice the GOP, all the lies, everything, and they're trying to, because remember, Romney is a Mormon. And anybody that is a Christian, and they believe in God and all this deluded crap of the Middle Ages, that they believe they are true because all these fairy tales cause a lot of good feelings. You take your Mormon family to the church and you see all the really fairy tales and the planet collapse, and they don't talk anything about science, just the Book of Mormon with all the garbage from the 1830s. And they become really to be a lie. And these people, the kids with the good brains, is that it really doesn't make sense. Even though I brought up Mormon and they believe in the Prophet Moroni, they try to rationalize it. Like the black woman that is a mayor of a city in Utah that is, they say, oh, the new star on the GOP, this black woman that is a Mormon. Well, if you have to be stupid and ignorant, not realize that the Mormon church was very racist. They hated blacks because they are burned by God and they're not, they changed their tune because they're hypocrites. And they're deluded imbeciles. So a woman, a black woman, a homosexual, that is actually a Mormon is no different than a Jewish person loving Adolf Hitler and thinking how moral he was and joining the Nazi party. Exactly the same thing. You cannot be a Mormon and be really a scientist and an educated person. You can't. Incompatible. Because this was created not due to people believing in God for thousands of years. This was created by mentally healthy collecting knowledge over millennia, fighting the Christian imbeciles that want to keep this and hiding. Otherwise, it will burn out the state because they're burning scientists. So keep that in mind. Christianity is a mentalism, and these people will control the countries, control nations. Look at the Supreme Court of the United States. Look at all the countries. Look at England. England is controlled by a woman that's a queen, that is the head of the Church of England, like a pope. And in Italy, the majority of those people are deluded and stupid. They're stuck with all these fairy tales, and the pope has all this control of the Catholics, millions and millions all over the planet, with the head up their ass. And these people are responsible for the genocide that's happening all over. Columbus, the conquistadors, the people killing natives over in New Zealand, all these people. And then you have the Protestant psychopath of England coming around the storm. So you have the Protestant lunatics and the Catholic lunatics, and they all have the varieties of strange disorder. It's like having a cancer, having a brain disease, and you have so many of them. Schizophrenia, and then we'll say, well, I don't like schizophrenia, but I think temporal lobe epilepsy is better. I don't like temporal lobe epilepsy or schizophrenia, but I think dementia is better. Oh, I don't believe in dementia or schizophrenia or Tourette syndromes or cognitive dissonance like that. I think Alzheimer's is good. You see, so there's all these pieces of shit, psychotic people that are Christians. There are thousands of denominations. Like all religions have many denominations of the faith, of the psychosis. It's like the psychosis of Christianity that believe in the tooth fairy, the Catholics. And then the Protestants believe in the green tooth fairy, and the Adventists in the pink tooth fairy. And then they convert from the green tooth fairy to the black tooth fairy, and the other to the purple tooth fairy. Oh, the purple tooth fairy is the real one. Let's kill the ones that believe in the green tooth fairy. Same thing. And the GOP, that's the reason these pieces of shit stuck in the Middle Ages are losing. And they lost, and they're going to be crash. And the scientists, American scientists, atheists, wake up. Dr. Krauss, Dr. Kaku, Neil deGrasse Tyson, that is black, is a genius, is brilliant. And he smashed all the Christians all the time, but he doesn't call them for what they are. Psychopath, poor people infected with the psychosis of God belief, because it's created in the brain, and people don't see it. In the moment they start addressing the religious people for people suffering by schizophrenia type disorder, things will be better in this country. People will start waking up, and this is the reason the GOP lost. They're stuck in the Middle Ages. That's disgusting. And the Christianity is because of all the problems. Pedophilia, immorality, sadomasochism, wife beating, dog fighting, hunting, like Ryan hunting deer. Why was anybody in this 21st century, with all the markets that you have, all this stuff, going out hunting deer? Because the pleasure of hunting and killing things. What a person goes to a bullfight for? To actually torture a bull and kill it. For the pleasure of seeing the blood. Is this normal to you guys? No, it's due to psychosis of God belief. That's a religion for you. Psychosis, a psychopathy. That's the facts. That's what he lost. That's what the GOP lost. Now, you have to look at the statistics. The reason all of this, and of course, look at the people that voted. The rural people, the white voters, and all that. Keep in mind that people that suffer from a neurological disorder that nobody sees, could be a schizophrenia, whatever you want. Look at this. People that in church, they are psychotic. They don't tell between fact and fiction, so they're going to vote for a person that is like them with the same neurological disorder. This fantasy, which is pedophile and racist and immorality, which is like Mormons. Mormons believe in resurrecting somebody that's said with blood, golden plates, and the regular religious psychosis beliefs. Because religion, all religions are comprised of mathematical, bizarre beliefs, just like in schizophrenia. There's no difference. So now you can understand why people voted the way they are. And it doesn't matter if they're intellectuals. They can be very intelligent and all that, make a lot of money, like a super PACs, but they all, in the back of their mind, they all brought up Christian. In other words, they have a defect because the brain cannot tell between fact and fiction. They don't understand science, so they rather believe in God and prophets and saints and demonic possession and satanic crap, and they make tons of money because the majority of Americans are infected with ChristPsychosis. But fortunately, this mental illness of God belief or something God belief is dissipating. And this is, people are getting more, the kids are getting more educated. They don't believe in the Christian bullshit of their parents, and they refuse to go to church and all that. But they doubt. So the important thing is education. Get rid of the church's bullshit and teach people to tell between fact and fiction and teach them science to rely on the brain creates God belief.
Given it was you didn't have a pro-democratic, a big wind at his back.
No, there wasn't a sweep here direction towards the president. And I think the reason that occurred is because the president knew the people who were going to vote for him in his new coalition, and even though the Republicans said, look, we've got voter intensity on our side, we've got...
They spent months and millions finding these voters and signing them up. So the president kept that number constant, and this number stayed pretty static.
Yeah, he needed probably to make that number a little bit higher. Again, the president didn't expect to win with these voters. He was mining younger voters and, of course, ethnic.
Let's try that again. She gets funny sometimes. Here we go. 47%. She had a long day.
Fine, some Jesus is white and has blue eyes. And Christianity caused racism, homophobia. To them, all the races that are not white are inferior. That's where the KKK comes from, and white supremacists. The piece of shit GOP, they are racist, imbecile, disgusting, deluded Christian psychopath. And nobody sees the disorder. That's the reason majority of whites voted for Romney. So they, in truth, they are racist pieces of shit. And people are beginning to see it. They're liars, like Rob. Liars! They're trying to fool everybody. No, America's growing up. They're not little kids anymore. They start realizing that, hey, perhaps Capun Piso is right. It's a mental disorder that nobody sees. It's psychopathy. If you believe in God, you're a theotard.
Romney won, but a majority of the voters were women yesterday, Gloria, and the president won. The electorate.
You know, that's a problem. Again, you know, Mitt Romney has an advantage, but he didn't have as much of an advantage with men as the president had with women. And as you heard at all the conventions, suddenly everyone's role model was their mother. And
not get anything done.
Not a stunt. John King, jump in.
Governor King, it's John King. We've known each other quite some time. You're senator-elect. I'm going to call you governor until you're senator because you're
with something like
look at this imbecile.
Partisan support. So I think
Salam is a crazy man.
Very shrewd for him politically.
Defective brain.
It actually allows him to realize
an imbecile. This guy is a total imbecile.
Basically in a position where
asshole doesn't realize his product of a fuck.
So I think that's
that creates
coming from on the part of
brain. He has his thoughts with the brain, not the ass.
People talking about Republicans this morning,
and his brain is infected. He's an imbecile. Don't see reality.
Speaker of the House saying, Mr. President,
just like Boehmer and the rest of the GOP imbeciles.
To lead, how does he lead?
That really is a problem because look, they
have to wake up.
A significant number of individuals, many of them who were saying in the last negotiations, look, forget that, allow us to fall off this cliff. I mean, we have no problem with going down. Is he going to be able to get them under control, to get them?
How does he do that? How does that happen? How do you get past that?
I'll tell you how.
You know what? And again, your task in trying to deal with his Democratic caucus, he is going to.
I know how to do it.
Speaker Boehner to do a very good
job
trying to get his caucus under control, and that wants to cut an appropriate deal. The question is, will his caucus go along with it? And last thing he wants to do is lose control of that and possibly see them elevate.
Let me conclude with this irrefutable fact that mentally healthy atheists, scientists and intellectuals, and everyone that is a human being must realize. The fact is, we are product of a fuck that creates our brains. We emerge lacking belief on anything, with 5 senses to navigate the earth. And if the brain, after an education, accept metamagical, bizarre beliefs as true, found in all religions, the brain is defected and sick. If you believe in God, you are a Theotard with a faulty brain. Religion, belief, is organized schizophrenia. Enjoy the truth in this 21st century. And I don't put up with bullshit. I tell it like it is. If somebody wants to tell me anything that is not true, I block them. I don't put up with ignorant imbeciles at all. Prove to me that the brain doesn't create God and you're not product of a fuck, and then I'll listen to you. In the meantime, enjoy science and the truth. No God. Pache Dios.